Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Bo and Joe Show. It's Wednesday night. I am having technical difficulties, so you can hear me, but I can't hear anybody. I'm going to work on that. But in the meantime, I'm going to throw it to Bodine. Hello, Bodine. How are you tonight?
I'm good, Joe. Maybe you can hear me. If you can't, that's okay. We'll keep it rolling. It's a good week. We've got a special video to show, as we showed, I think it was 2 weeks ago. So I'm looking forward to seeing that video again. And then we'll have George in as well.
All right, well, I'm going to switch gears and go to the phone for audio. In the meantime, let's add George to the
Look who popped up. The Ohio State.
No. San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, Lord. Look at him. Look at him. Oh, he got McCaffrey on. Oh, my goodness. Well, there's some... We're going to talk about San Francisco and their issue, which may turn out...
There's no issue. There's
no
issue.
Okay. We'll talk.
No issue.
You may not call it an issue. You're right. How about the scenario that could happen because of what happened? So we're going to talk about that. But let's start with college football. You know what? Let's do what we normally do. Let's talk about behavior, good or bad, happening in sports. Too many fights. We've had earlier a month or two ago, we had some soccer players, female, fighting on the field. And then we just got some females fighting in basketball. So we're all about diversity here. We're all about DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we can't hide from the fact that we've been chastising all other athletes and all other sports leagues. So we have to be fair and include the women. Very disappointed, but guess what? They're athletes too. It's an emotional game. And some of them lost their cool and they're getting into fights. And we've got to stop this all the way around. Everybody's got to change their behavior, calm down, be competitive, but not lose their minds. So we got to chastise them just like we chastise the Little League, the coaches, the Power 5 conferences, the professionals. Everybody, we've got to do a better job in sports because we're setting example for kids and kids are following what's happening. So come on, ladies, let's show what lead the way, show everybody how sportsmanship should be demonstrated. So any thoughts, Coach?
Well, I mean, all I can really respond to that is when I'm coaching. I mean, I've been through my own backgrounds dealing with the YMCA. Respecting, both coaches, officials. I mean, we had our own pledge literally for the kids that teaching them about being professional in all their aspects, being responsible, and being supportive of each other too. So, like I said, my only response to that is it's all on who their coaches were previously, and how they literally were brought up and how they were coached and how they were even raised, and advancing themselves as young adults in the college. And how what their behavior is a reflection on their former coaches and their parents. I mean, it is what it is.
Well, listen, as my mom used to tell me, and I think I wrote this in the book, when you lose your temper, you better go find it. Because if she finds it first, you're in trouble. So listen, folks, we really do have to curb. It's great to be competitive. It really is. That's what sports is about. But you can't cross the line, right? You got to have some self-control. And we know it's a game of emotion and passion, but you should practice at a high level so when you're in the game, you don't lose that competitive edge. You maintain that competitive edge, but you don't lose control of your emotions. So again, we as a whole, as a country, and as a sporting world, because it's not just happening in America, it's happening all over the world, right? So we've got to do a better job, those of us who are in the sports space. So Joe, have you heard that? Have you heard our conversation?
Joe, you're going to want to unmute yourself so that you can talk to us, though.
Now we can't hear you, and you got headphones on.
She can hear through her phone, but she's got to unmute herself to be able to talk through her computer. There you go.
Well, I was trying to speak through my computer through my phone because I'm going to get an echo. So
That's all right. We can hear you.
Okay. Is that better?
Oh, yeah. We can hear you. Okay. We'll deal with the echo. We want to hear your voice.
All right. So I didn't hear the whole conversation.
I was talking about, we've talked about behavior. We've talked about good behavior and bad behavior. And unfortunately, this week we had some ladies fighting on the basketball court. And I said, we got to be fair. If we're going to chastise other sports and other leagues and other players on every level, we've got to hold the ladies accountable too. And I referred back to a fight on the soccer field that happened a couple of weeks ago, maybe more than a couple of weeks ago, because for me, every day is Groundhog's Day. But then we had basketball players, women basketball players, just going at it, and I think 8 players or so got suspended. So again, we just got to do a better job all around in the sports space because we're setting examples on every level. So, floor is yours.
All right. Well, I agree with all of that, and I think that it's societal, and not only that, this is a horrible time of year, and violence, I think, typically peaks throughout the holidays. So that's something to be mindful of. I want to welcome Tim to the show. Hi, Tim. Tim has a comment. He's saying, careful, McCaffrey breaks easily.
Not in San Francisco, he doesn't.
That's funny. So now we got that out of the way, let's talk. We're going to jump into college football just real quick. We'll follow up with the Army-Navy game, and then we'll get into TB12 and then the NFL pros, because TB12 is going to be a topic of conversation tonight.
What about the story?
Who story? I'm sorry.
What about Deion? We're not going to talk about that?
Oh, I totally forgot about that. Hey, Deion moving to, now we're in college, right? Deion moving from Jackson State to Colorado. From the last thing I read, and I didn't read the whole article, but apparently he's pulled 2 or 3 Power 5 conference coaches with him. So he's building a coaching staff that's going to be pretty sharp. And so he's looking to win right away. He's not looking to ease into this. And so he's trying to maintain that prime time persona. So But kudos to him. I mean, I've seen, and I'm sure you guys have seen it, folks saying he created a dream for his athletes, but then walked away from them before the dream was fulfilled. That's not true. They went undefeated. They only lost 2 games last year, but he has every right to leave and go to a bigger payday and a bigger school, just like every other coach had been doing it forever. So they can't hold him accountable and not hold other coaches accountable, or not even accountable, but, you know, chastise them or criticize him. Sure, you can, but to me, it makes no sense, because all coaches, if they want to move up and grow and elevate their career, do the same thing. They do it in almost every sport, right? So only a few coaches stay where they are forever. Only a few. So
I think
floor is yours.
They're talking about that he's abandoning the HBCUs, but it doesn't matter. He has the right to move forward and progress. Several players have now made decisions. They had already chosen colleges and are now going out to Colorado to follow Deion.
Well, what they can or want to do is versus what they can do. The big kicker of the portal, by the way, a record number has been broken as of yesterday.
Woo!
The record was 230. The highest was 231. Yesterday, 669 players entered the portal.
What?
And there are only 70 spots on the Colorado roster, and there are only 46 scholarships. So as much as Mr. Sanders would like to, how shall we say, flip the script, there are still NCAA regulations that are needing to be abided by. And yes, even those 669 kids are looking to be one of the chosen ones to flip and follow. I don't think everybody's getting there, but will Deion have probably about 7 to choose from? Yes, I think he may end up with about 7 out of 669. But yes, there was an astronomical number, and we can thank stats for that, by the way. But yes, 669 kids.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
What are our thoughts about his son is following him? So from most accounts, you know, the son may not be one of the best football players around. Obviously, there's some nepotism there. And how should that be considered?
No, you're wrong. He is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, in college football. Sure he is. He's playing at a different level, so people don't give him the credit that he deserves. So he's going to have to prove it when he gets on the Power 5 conference level. Okay, so remember, if the kid would have came out of high school and went to a Power 5 school and started there, he would be getting the accolades he deserves. But he started at an HBCU, and we know what happens when you attend an HBCU. You're not getting the credit that you deserve. That's the whole point. So he is a really good quarterback. He's just not qualified in terms of other people who evaluates or picks quarterbacks because he's at an HBCU, right? So here we go. He's got to prove it. So we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right. You guys
that
took
was,
college
no,
away.
that was my point, Joe. That was my point in a discussion too, because right off the rip, Deion And Bodine, I found out that no, they wanted to make this public and publicized. By the way, the press conference when he referred to his son as luggage, and that he was bringing the luggage with him, and those who didn't like it could. There's the portal. You can go step into it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And by saying, well, my son's better than all of you guys in the room, when you have not put your son on the field and taken a look at what your son can do against or with that current team and see where he actually ranks. And that is going to be the big problem. Especially for those kids who were already there and are the quarterbacks.
It's going to be a test, without a doubt. Again, he's not the first one to do this. Other coaches have done it before. The difference is other coaches didn't do it publicly. That's the bottom line. So he's doing things publicly because that's Deion. He ain't got nothing to hide. He could care less what anybody thinks. He's shaking up. He's being a disruptor. And so that's why he's doing it. He's thumbing his nose at the system that created the system that prevented him from becoming a head coach. That's what he's doing. I know what he's doing. He's been talking about it, and a lot of players, former players, have been talking about that system for years. So I get what he's doing. Again, we all know this. We all know this. Winning cures everything, period. As long as he's winning, it don't matter what Deion does, because we see it every Sunday in the NFL. As long as a player and teams are winning, half the stuff they do, we don't even know about because it won't be news, right?
Right, unless they're arrested.
Right. So, I mean, we know this. Is it right, G? Probably not, but it happens. Again, he's not the first one to do it. He's not the first one to do it. He's the first one to be confident and even arrogant enough to air it live and put it on tape so other people can see it. But that's Deion. That's who it always been, right? Prime time. So I don't expect anything different from him than what he was when he walked into the league and blew up the league as a punt returner, a kickoff returner, and the best cornerback ever. So that's what he's doing. That's the way he's been his whole career, right?
True.
So, yeah, we'll see. We shall see. Because they're coming after him. Whatever league they're in, everybody's going to come after him. They're going to come after his son. They're going to come after the team. They're going to try to embarrass him. They're going to have to be prepared to play. What conference is that anyway? Colorado.
Was it Pac-12?
Or I'm sorry, Pac-12. Yeah, that's right. They're in the Pac-12.
Did they come up? What's the numbers? I mean, I didn't see any numbers. Did they release his numbers yet? Meaning what he's being paid?
They did.
What is it?
Let me see.
I didn't have time to find it.
I think he went from 300,000 to 5 million. I'm not sure. Something like that.
Yeah, look up the total numbers. Is it a 5-year deal, 4-year deal? What kind of deal is it? Let's hear the particulars.
It says they don't currently have the money to be on.
So that's where the boosters come in. They're making phone calls as we speak. They've got a room full of people making phone calls.
It sounds like he has to pay out the $300,000 contract.
Oh yeah, but he has that.
And then he's being offered $29.5 million.
29.5 at Colorado for how many years?
5 years.
All right.
He will be slated $5.5 million in his first season.
Gotcha.
Of $500,000, supplemented by $1.75 million for radio, television, and public appearances. And so essentially, 5.7, 24, 5.9, 25, 6.1 and 26, and 6.3 and 27.
Gee, what does that put him in compared to other coaches? Is he in the top 10 or top 20?
Top
Like
40?
top 4? Saban's made
40.
40. Okay,
40.
gotcha. So Saban's making what, 10? Saban's making more than 10 a year?
Keep going. Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
Well, he deserves it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, somebody hits over a quarter a year.
Yeah.
Deion's not up that high. Not yet.
Okay. But I still, hey, $5 million a year is still pretty good money.
Keep in mind, he was making 300,000.
Yeah, because HBCUs don't have that kind of booster club, don't have that kind of, budget to pay, right? So, but the bottom line is he changed a lot of stuff at Jackson. They have an incredible field. They didn't have one before. They have better facilities now. They're undefeated this year. They won the championship. He accomplished his goal. It's time to move on.
But at the same time, it's hard to say. Yeah, obviously people have ambition. They want to move up. That's why we work. But at the same time, it would have been nice to see him stay. But I understand why he didn't. But it was a dream in many respects. And when you're going into those types of professions, teaching, coaching, for me, and at the heart of it is about the students and the athletes.
Yeah, but that's not the world of sports live in.
Well, and Deion does not have an easy task, by the way.
Oh, no.
They already have, this is next year's schedule for Colorado already, by the way.
Go ahead.
The very first game, they play against TCU.
Woo!
Right off,
and you know that game's going to be on TV.
Right off the rip, he plays TCU.
They're going to be, and probably every game's going to be on TV. And I don't mean locally in the Colorado area. I mean regionally or nationally.
So yeah, right off the bat, no, you're stepping into the world of wow.
Yes.
After that, Nebraska, Colorado State, Arizona State, Arizona, then Oregon State, Stanford, USC, at Oregon,
Woo!
at Utah.
Man, that's a tough schedule.
And then finishing up with at Washington State. He is
Tough.
playing against 6
top 10
teams. And
yeah.
Ouch.
How was Colorado this year?
Not ranked.
Not ranked.
Not ranked.
That's why they went after it. They need a shot. They needed a boot. They need some steroids boosted into that program.
Right now, if I'm Colorado, if I'm the people in the office, I'm definitely visiting a lot of churches and synagogues. And a whole lot of praying, because that schedule, when I saw this schedule, I was like, oh my gosh, this is not pretty.
How many games did Colorado win this past season? 6? Not even 6, probably 4. I didn't hear you. You broke up.
What? 1-11.
Oh, so all he has to do is win 3 games, and it's a successful season.
Wow. Wow.
That listen.
Wow.
Listen, he's gonna win. He's gonna win. I bet you, out of 12 games, he's gonna win 6. He's gonna win 6. He ain't gonna win the conference. He's gonna win 6 games.
They lost to Air Force 41-10.
They're a terrible team. Absolutely, terrible team. And guess what? They're gonna be on TV every weekend. Just watch.
The game that they won was against Cal, and they had to do it in overtime, 20-13.
So they literally could have went 0-12. Oh,
yes.
No wonder.
And the most points they scored outside of the Arizona State game, the highest scoring point total, they averaged only 17 points a game.
No wonder he had the press conference in front of the kids like that. He really wants those players who aren't really into it to get out and get into the portal so he can get some new players in and build a program. I get it.
But your max is only 9 kids. You can only pull 9 because you've already scholarshiped out 46. You've already scholarshiped 46. Your balance that you get back is 9, and then everybody else you're going to try to fit in as a walk-on. I mean, they're not coming in scholarshiped, and that's the big problem. Is a lot of these kids who are trying to hit the portal, they think that their scholarship comes with them. Your scholarship doesn't go with you.
Is that right?
Behind.
Right. Is that Colorado?
Getting your scholarship.
Is Colorado a private school or state school? It's not Colorado State, right?
That's correct. It's University of Colorado.
Right. So it's a private school. Okay. So they can kind of do what they want in terms of academic scholarships versus.
No, you're maxed at 46. And which every school does. You're maxed at 46, and you're allotted that 9 as your buffer to, go back and forth with retractions. You've only got 9.
So in other words, with the name, image, and likeness, some kids can actually pay for their own education if they transfer in and are not on scholarship.
But you have to get your name, image, and likeness comes after, not before.
Right. Okay.
But guess what? When you don't get it, you owe a lot of money. You are going to owe hundreds of thousands of dollars. You are going to.
Well, no, not for 1 year.
Oh, for Colorado?
Yeah. What is it? 20, 30, 40 grand a year?
Keep going.
For 1 year.
Keep going.
1 year.
Yeah, keep going.
Keep going what?
You're a Division 1A. Yeah.
Come on. Listen.
You're $55,000 for the year. Easy.
Well, you said $100,000.
No, $55,000 for the year.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
So you're still looking at you're trying for 2 years. You're looking at $100 grand.
Okay. Somebody might be able to do that. Remember, there are people breaking all kinds of rules out there, G. It's not like it's a clean system. We're not talking about choir boys here. We're talking about sports where people break rules in order to get what they want.
That's where the NCAA polices it. And that's why I said Deion's not going to be able to do what he thinks he wants to do.
Put it this way.
It's going to be very difficult. And it's by the time he has what he considers his players, his son will have graduated.
I think they're going to.
By then, he may leave there.
I'm willing to bet my Jacksonville Jaguars hat that Deion wins 6 games next year.
With that schedule, hang on.
I'm willing to bet my Jaguars hat that they win 6 games next year because he's bringing in great qualified coaches who's going to coach those kids up, and then Who's to say those 9 kids that buffer aren't going to be powerhouse kids? Come on.
2, 3. I say 4.
Stop it.
It's going to be 4.
All right.
Nope.
All right.
It'll be
Well,
4.
it's better than 1. It's better than 1.
Touche.
It's better than 1.
It's a lot better than 1.
Right?
That's
Better
true.
than 1.
That's true. I've seen the Nebraska, Colorado State, Arizona, and probably,
remember,
State would be the flip.
Remember, Stanford's losing their coach. He resigned.
Sorry, Washington State.
What about Stanford? Their coach resigned. So they got a new system coming in. So they're not going to be stable. Could that be the 6th game?
No.
All right. We'll see.
I was thinking that between that one or Washington State, one of those two would be the 4th.
All right.
I say 4.
Well, Dion, listen, he may carry my last name, but he ain't carrying this program. So we're going to switch topics and go with the best 5 states in college football. No, I'm sorry, in professional football. The best 5 states in professional football right now is the Philadelphia Eagles, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Cincinnati Bengals, Kansas City, number 3, number 4, New York, Buffalo Bills, by the way, and number 5, Texas. So guess what, Mr. Ohio? Y'all moved up.
Why would Texas be in there?
Cowboys.
Again, why would Texas?
All right, don't have crispy bacon coming from behind that curtain.
What's the matter with California? And the 49ers cruising right on through. Come on now.
They are not ranked. Well, put it this way. Colin Cowherd, if you want to beef with Colin Cowherd. His top 5 is just what I told you. The Eagles, Cincinnati, Kansas City, Buffalo, and Dallas. That's who he's got in the top 5.
Oh, as soon as you mentioned it was Cowherd.
Well, hey, listen, I helped you out by giving Ohio its due. Cincinnati Bengals is the 2nd best team in the NFL based on Colin Cowherd. I thought you would like that.
Oh, no, he's not wrong.
So, hold on, Joe. How can he be wrong with Dallas but not wrong with Cincinnati? That don't make sense.
It doesn't.
Dallas has a cupcake schedule. Come on. Play somebody for real. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens when he goes against the Eagles again.
I expect that Chris is going to be removing the live stream any second.
Well, listen. Let's take a break before we get truly into pro football, and let's get anybody and everybody who's watching this program. Let's show that Army, Navy, or that which is it? Navy video.
Maybe. Yeah.
But I also have pulled up the Army logos and the uniform stuff, so I have that ready to go.
Crispy Bacon, are you there? Let's watch that video.
Yeah, it's coming up.
All righty.
Make it bigger. Okay.
Ignition sequence start.
As kids, we look to the stars and dream of the unknown.
Roger, we copy.
Those dreams forge astronauts who push the boundaries of humanity.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
From the sea to the stars, this is how we honor them.
Captain, we're go for landing. Go for landing, over.
That was
I'm
impressive.
telling you, it gets me jacked up every time I see it. I had to turn down my globe light just so I can see the video clearly. Yo, that is a great video. Absolutely incredible.
Well, the thing that truly
Yeah.
stinks is they have the jersey for sale, but the jersey is not exact to what you see in the video, which kind of stinks. I mean, it's
Yeah, I
close.
think I saw that once.
It's
It's like a knockoff of it.
It's $95, but it's still not too bad. It's still not too bad. If can I pull it up here? Chris, can you I got it.
Yeah.
I got it pulled up here.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's what it looks like.
Yep.
So it's not too bad. I mean, I thought it would be a little bit more descriptive of it. You know, it does
Right.
have the logo on that side. It does
Right.
come with a patch piece on the back. I thought it would have that shuttle launch patch, but it doesn't.
Okay.
I was kind of bummed out about it, and especially because they screen printed it. I was like, come on, guys. If you're going to do it, let's do it right. I mean, especially for $100. It's like, come on. Yeah.
I still like it.
You like the original.
Yeah. The original is this is the Army's uniform, by the way. This
Oh,
is
look
the
at that.
Army's uniform.
And what's
It's
special
the-
about that? What's special
This is-
about that?
This is World War II.
Mm.
Hold on. Don't you shit. Hold on. What are you doing? Go back to that first one. Look at that. Is that incredible or what?
That number 42, man, I'm telling you, just shows up everywhere.
Does it show up everywhere?
It's always about that 42.
How about that?
But these are the World War II throwback.
I might have to switch my allegiance now to the Army since they got my number on there. Look at that.
The gloves, I thought that was pretty cool that it'll do the logo with the gloves. I do like
That
that.
is cool. That is so cool.
Yeah, they
That is
did
so
a really
cool.
nice job.
Joe,
I thought
did
that
you
was
put
really slick?
Joe, did you put the word in to make that jersey number 42 for me? I appreciate it. You're just such a sweetheart. Thank you, honey.
Put the word in. I had to pay off the Army.
This is the very unique thing. I noticed this when I was going through this. It is a 48 star flag was used, as it was in World War II. It is not.
Oh, yeah.
It is 50. It is a 48 star flag.
Nice.
I thought that was very slick on pulling that
Oh,
off.
yeah.
Because
Well, they've been playing.
there were only 48 United States, not 50.
Well, they've been playing this game 100. It'll be the 123rd time they've butted heads. So this is a long tradition game here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, and then they go through the Navy's jerseys as well. One thing that we didn't see was this on the gloves. They had the star and stripe on the inside of the gloves. We saw the stripe for the helmet.
Yeah.
That's
Like I
nice.
said, I think it would have been really cool if they would have included all the patches on the
Right.
jersey for Under Armour.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
I said, it just really stinks that they didn't go all out with it like they could have.
Right. Nice shoes too. Are they 3/4? Those are 3/4, right?
Yeah, they look like it.
Nice.
Very cool. I mean,
Yep.
Bryce's game is at 2:00 on Saturday, and I'm like, man, I hope it's not during the game. I haven't even looked at what time it was yet. I'm like, don't be during the game, please. I'm like, I really want to watch that game. Even if I have to DVR it, I will DVR it.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I usually do catch it anyway because it's just tradition.
Right.
And the fun thing is a lot of times it's like, yeah, I sit down and watch football with my grandfather, and a couple of times I got to watch the Army Navy game. What are you doing?
We were finishing up the Stargirl premiere, like the.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you are up really late.
Yeah,
Boogie.
the finale.
Good night.
Right.
Good night, Boogie.
Yeah, I was sitting there, I was like shocked. I was like, wait a minute, it is up past your bedtime. binge watching Stargirl. So it's like, with mom. That's their program. He and I have programs, he and mom have programs, so mom keeps them up. Mom keeps them up late, not me.
Uh-oh.
I kept him up late when he was littler watching Monday Night Football, so it happens.
There you go. So let's jump into TB12. TB12 does it again. Just when you think it's all over, he pulls out a victory. How about that? 3 seconds left in the game. Come on.
It was a good game.
It looked like they were dead in the water. New Orleans had their number. We talked about it last week. New Orleans, for some reason, has their number. But TB said, no. I'm playing till the whistle blows dead. And he pulled it off. How about that?
Well, he can thank the head coach of the Saints for not running the ball on 2nd and 3rd downs before he got that position back. Because when that 40 seconds runs off the clock, Tom doesn't have any time to do anything. So, unfortunately. So, yeah, he owes the head coach a little bit of ducats. He owes it big time.
Well, he still has to pull it off, and you just can't give Tom Brady the ball with any time left because he just tends to pull it off. So give him credit where credit is due. He's the greatest quarterback that ever played a game.
Oh,
no. It hurts me to admit it, but he's got more rings than any other quarterback.
I think he's probably the greatest in this era, but I don't know if he's
correct.
The greatest.
Correct. That's
well,
correct. It's not going to be ever to play the game.
He may be the greatest in our lifetime as well.
Remember, the era 20 years ago, you could turn around and you could tackle the quarterback. You could land on the quarterback. You could hit the wide receivers across the middle. Due to rule changes, era changes, there will be greater players now because of more of the rule changes.
All right, we'll have
played the game.
We'll have this debate at a later date for the purposes to get a smile on Joanne's face. We will say Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback because he's won more Super Bowls, or at least we'll say he's the greatest winning quarterback that ever played. There's no other quarterback that has more Super Bowl rings or championship rings than Tom Brady.
Really?
Name them.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Name them.
Really?
Who is it?
How many has Tom won? 4.
What?
What?
Tom Brady's got what? You didn't say 4, did you? You didn't say 4, did you? Joanne,
4.
how many championship rings does Tom Brady have?
He's 7-4. That's right. His 4 is his losses.
Thank you.
That's right. That's his.
As I said, Tom Brady has won more championships / Super Bowls than any other quarterback in history. Boom. So we'll move on. and talk about him playing for his hometown team, the 49ers, after he leaves the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What do you think about that?
I want to mention something about it. So, I don't know if you read anything about his personal life this week, but I think that there's a turnaround for him. You know, he shared a sweet text that he received from his older son, Benny. And then, you know, he and Giselle's daughter had a birthday, and he commented on Twitter, and then she responded with a heart, you know, just wishing their daughter a birthday. So I think that his personal life is leveling off.
He did after the game. During the post game interview, he wished his daughter the happy birthday then too.
Yeah, so I think that camaraderie and some of that chaos is probably subsiding, and he could be back on point.
It does. He's human, just like everybody else. He's got to go through the ups and downs in a divorce, just like everybody else has. And you're right. It gets a point where it levels off. Sometimes it gets back up. Sometimes it levels off. He's dealing with it. So, but what do you think, Joe, if he decides to sign with the 49ers, his hometown team, and quarterback the 49ers? What would you do?
I'd be very happy, because remember, the 49ers are my childhood team, my favorite team for decades. So Dwight Clark's out, Tom Brady's in.
Why would you as a GM, not take that opportunity? Jimmy Garoppolo can never stay healthy. Your backup quarterback still would be a young kid. Why not take Tom Brady? Because you got a strong team. You got a great defense, and you've got a really good offense. And with Tom Brady there, you literally could win a Super Bowl. Why not?
You got two young quarterbacks backing up Garoppolo.
But
and they're drafted this year.
The problem is they already gave Tom the cold shoulder.
Yeah.
Karma is a pain in the butt. Tom won't go because that's where the conversation and the quote came from, was you're sticking with that guy, and he was referring to Jimmy Garoppolo. The conversation was with Jed York, and York, as we know, is a complete idiot and turned around and bypassed on Tom Brady already.
Yep.
So, no, I don't think, as much as Tom wants to, I don't think Tom will turn around and do that and will even, coincide with Jed York or anything with the organization, unless York sold the team tomorrow, unfortunately. And I'm a very big 49ers fan since age 7. That's 42 years. I'm there. Trust me. I was wanting Tom to turn around, and when they said he was leaving New England, I said it would be perfect for him to go to San Francisco. It didn't happen, and now we know why it didn't happen. Jed York got in the way, as usual, unfortunately.
Don't worry, they'll get Rodgers.
No, remember, John Lynch is the GM now. He got McCaffrey. We're good. We're good.
Well, listen, you keep raining on Joanne's parade here. I'm trying to help. I'm trying to help her out and give her. I'm trying to help her out and give her something to be excited about, that potentially Tom Brady could end up at 49ers.
But remember, Purdy is in the Tom Brady scenario. Bo, you and I talked about this a little. Kurt Warner fell into the Tom Brady scenario when Trent Green got hurt. Purdy is in the same situation. Because remember, Tom Brady fell into the situation when Drew Bledsoe got hurt. When Bledsoe got hurt, Brady got in, and all the players around him, the system worked. Right now, we saw it was only 8 plays in, and Garoppolo went out. Purdy came in. Purdy managed that game like a champ.
Well, first Lance started. Lance started first, and Garoppolo came in.
Yeah, when Lance got hurt.
Yeah.
You don't want to get me started about Trey Lance. That's an epic bust, unfortunately. Right now, Purdy, that's going to be. I think that's going to be full sail. I think that's what they're going to stick with, and don't be surprised if that's what reaches them to play Philadelphia. And boy, won't that be interesting for an NFC Championship game this year.
Listen. Philly is the best team in the league by far. Don't put Purdy in that position where our 300-pound defensive tackles hurt him. Don't be putting that kid in that trouble. Don't do that.
They will not touch him.
Don't put that kid in that situation. No. If anybody I want those 300-pound guys crushing would be Ron.
Me too.
Him and his abdominal and his broken hand. That guy won't even see the playoffs this year. That's the scary part. They're not even going to see the playoffs.
Yep. Well, listen. Let's start. It's getting late. Let's start with last week's picks.
Oof.
Crispy bacon, hang in
We
there,
don't
brother.
have time for that, Bodine. Let's just get to this week's games.
Oh no! Oh no!
Don't steal my thunder.
Oh no! Not the way this score turns out. Well, listen, Joe, you should be happy because you beat George. George only won 9 games. He would have won 10 if New Orleans would have. So your boy TB12 helped you beat George because that was I'm telling you, I literally crossed out Tampa Bay to lose, and TB12 won that game. So I had to change everybody's score because Tom pulled it off. So George had 9 wins, Joe had 10. Crispy Bacon had 11, and voila, I had 13. So, and let me tell you, that dude, G3, was hot. He was hot.
well,
It was hot.
That was because I saw Mark Ingram be real lazy, and unfortunately today we found out why he was lazy. He was actually injured running on a torn MCL.
Yeah.
I could not believe he was running with a torn MCL. I don't know what Superman abilities gave him that to keep running on that, but now we know why he bailed out and didn't get any he wasn't getting any contact when he was trying to run.
Yeah, you can't cut with that MCL tear. So he was going in a straight line for the sideline. He got as much yardage at an angle as possible, and then got outside the outside.
Now we know why. And now we know why. That is, as much as I was literally jumping on him, and to hear that news today, I'm like, wow. I'm like,
do you feel bad? Do you feel bad?
Oh, 100%. Because when you're playing, I mean, we know that these guys want to play injured or want to play even when they're injured. It's just like, wow,
Yeah.
More power to them. I mean,
yeah, because he could have ruined the remaining of his career totally if he'd have played the normal way.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I think I'm gonna frame this.
Jeez.
So, all right.
You still haven't beaten 14.
All right, that's all right. So let's get to this week's games. I'll do the writing, y'all do the talking.
All right, so we have the Raiders-Rams tomorrow night. I'm going with the Raiders.
Raiders.
Everybody's on the Raiders.
Remember, the Rams just picked up Baker Mayfield, so Raiders all day.
All right, then we have the Vikings and the Lions. I'm going with the Vikings.
This one's in Detroit. This is where I'm going with the Detroit win on this.
I'm going with Detroit.
And if Minnesota wins, they're in the playoffs.
Yeah, who you going with, Chris? Who you got, Chris?
Minnesota.
Joe?
Minnesota.
Sticking with Minnesota, okay.
And we have the Ravens and the Steelers. I'm going with the Ravens.
Steelers? I'm going Steelers.
Me too.
I don't think so. Huntley has proved that he can turn around and run that offense, and it's still the Ravens' offense. Mike Tomlin still has to stop the Ravens' offense, and that's still the Ravens' defense. So I'm going with the Ravens.
Joe, you're going with the Ravens, you said?
I'm going with the
Okay.
Ravens.
Okay.
Then we have the Browns, Bengals. I'm going with the Bengals.
Bengals. Browns are playing well though.
This is where this is where last week I should have learned. I should have known. The Bengals have the Chiefs number, but the Browns have the Bengals number for some weird reason. I'm going Cleveland.
Isn't won't this be the second full game for the quarterback? What's his name?
Deshaun Watson.
Watson?
Yeah.
Yep.
Who you going with, Joe?
Bengals.
Bacon?
Bengals.
I'm going with Cincinnati too. You make a valid point, G, but I'm going. Cincinnati's playing really great football right now.
Yeah.
Next game.
We have the Jets and the Bills.
Oh.
With the Bills. It's going to be a good game, but I'm sticking with the Bills.
Yeah. Buffalo.
George?
Oh, I really want to go with Buffalo, but I'm scared. I'm going to go on the flyer. I'm taking the Jets.
I almost took the Jets, but I said no. I love the Josh Allen too much. Yeah, I can't do it. All right, next game.
Then we have the Texans and the Cowboys. I'm going with the Cowboys. That's an easy one.
Cowboys.
We're all on the Cowboys.
But I wouldn't be surprised if Houston comes out and
Really?
tries.
It's an interstate rivalry game.
Davis Mills was just announced back again as the starting quarterback, by the way.
Okay, next game.
Okay, then we have the Eagles and oh no, did I say that? Oh yeah, the Eagles and the Giants. I'm going with the Eagles.
Eagles. With no tie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was bad last week. That was bad.
And we have the Jaguars and the Titans. I'm going with the Titans.
Jags.
Jaguars.
Jags are not happy after the Lions game. I think there is a big shakeup. I think the Jags will come into Tennessee marching on them.
I'm going with the Jags. Let's get this clear. I'm going with Jags. Who's going with Crispy Bacon? Who you got?
Jaguars.
George?
Jags.
Joe?
I'm going with the Titans.
Okay. Next game.
Then we have the Chiefs, Broncos. I'm going with the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Everybody's on the Chiefs.
And then we have the Panthers and the Seahawks. I think I'm going with the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Do you realize the Seahawks has the last 5 games of the season? They only have 1 away game. They got the next 2 games are home. The middle game, the 3rd game is away, and the last 2 games are home. They have an outstanding opportunity to get into the playoffs. Who you going? Who's everybody going with? Everybody going with Seahawks?
Yeah.
Yep, me too.
Chicago has all of their games at home.
Really?
Yep.
Except for their bye week.
Wow. Next game, Joe.
Next one's a tough one for me. The Buccaneers and the 49ers.
TB12 versus the 49ers.
One stuffy.
Holy cow.
I think the 49ers may pull it off. I'm going to stick with TB.
Oh, wow.
Hold on. Joe, remember, Tampa's got to fly from the East Coast to the West Coast.
I know,
That's-
but I think he's on a momentum. I think he's coming back. So I gotta stick with him. We'll see what happens.
I'm going with the 49ers on this one. Because
49ers.
that kid didn't show any scaredness, even though he was the Mr. Irrelevant. He played really well. So who you going with, Crispy Bacon?
Tampa Bay.
All right, Joe and Chris on Tampa Bay. I'm going with the 49ers. G, you got 49ers? Yep.
Right, then
Oh,
we
yeah,
have the
absolutely.
Dolphins and the Chargers. I'm going with the
Wait.
Dolphins.
Hold on. Y'all were talking over each other. Go ahead,
All
Joe.
day and twice on.
I'm sorry, George. What?
George was
I said
picking.
all
He
day
was
and twice
picking.
on.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
picking the 49ers. Okay.
Okay.
So what's
Yeah.
the next game?
The Dolphins and the Chargers.
Miami and LAC.
It's a tight one too.
Woo!
I'm going with
This,
Miami.
this game got flexed, remember.
I'm going with Miami too.
This is another team flying from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Dolphins. Chargers have no
Yeah.
defense.
Okay.
They got a hurt quarterback.
Who you got, Crispy Bacon?
Miami.
We're all on Miami.
And the last game, Monday night game, is the Patriots and the Cardinals.
Patriots.
That's guess I'll go with the Patriots there.
I'm going Cardinals.
I was going to say, the Cards are coming off the bye week. They've had a couple weeks to prep for this, and I'm going
We
Cards.
hope. Hopefully Kyler Murray is. I don't know.
Who you got, Chris?
Patriots.
Joe, you definitely taking the Patriots?
I think so.
So you've got three teams. Pats flying from the East Coast to the West Coast. Miami doing the same. Tampa doing the same. Carolina doing the same.
The Chiefs are doing the same.
Who else is flying cross country?
The Chiefs at the Broncos. It's close enough.
So, out of all those teams that are flying cross country, we're only giving Seattle the advantage for the home spot. Something's wrong with that picture.
I gave the Cards. I took the Cards.
No, I'm talking about all of us. We're all on Seattle at home,
Oh,
meaning the Panthers flying cross country. We're not giving them a shot. But everybody else who's flying, we're all on Kansas City. Half of us is giving Tampa the nod. We're all saying Miami's going to fly way out west and beat the Chargers. And then we're saying Joe and Chris are saying that Pats are going to fly to Arizona and win. So we're going to see. That's where the wins and losses this week are going to come from. Those teams that fly from the East Coast to the West Coast. That's what's going to decide who's going to win out of this crew.
We'll see.
Watch. Wow. What a week.
It's been a
Yeah.
busy week. All right, so we're at the end of the show. We got Chris here in the front of the camera, so that's always a treat. And George,
Yeah.
thanks for joining us again.
thanks for
And of
having me.
course, everybody who tuned in, we appreciate it. I see that we had Christine Miller, my sister-in-law, tuned in tonight. So thank you, Christine, and of course, there is no Bo and Joe show without my partner, Bodine. So thank you, Bodine.
Woohoo! Thank you, Joe.
We'll see everybody next week.
Go Navy.